Hi, good day, everyone. We are back again, recording one of the old assessments from the previous AQ 2016 qualifications. I thought I had this video uploaded, but for some reason, I couldn't find the old file. So again, let's go back in there and see element of costing, AQ 2016 module, practice assessment 2 from the AAT website. Okay, and not many of you will be doing it unless you are still sitting for the old qualification or you are in apprenticeship. You'll be expected to do this exam as one of your modules for your AAT Foundation Certificate in Accounting course. And this is basically one of those only management accounting module you see in level 2. Okay, so let's start with this. Exam is for 1 hour 30 minutes and it consists of these 10 questions, I think, because things has changed on the new AQ 2022 module. Yes, it has 10 tasks and you have 1 hour 30 minutes to do so. So we're going to skip through it very quickly. It's not going to be overly complicated module, but it should be something you have to think of it as a challenging proposition here. Okay, so let's see. Let's start the assessment now. And let me zoom in a little bit so you'll be able to see a little bit more clearly on this. So, I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's a lot better now. On the resolution, you may see that. Yeah, let me see if I can do one more. Yeah, that's even better. So the first questions I'll ask you, select two of the descriptions used when classifying cost by nature from the list below, dragging them into answer box. So here there are some, the types where the cost is classified by, and there are multiple different classification code. It's by function and also elements, and then also you're going to categorize them by nature. Okay, the nature is always going to be something whether they are directly involved with the process or not directly involved. So it can be either direct or indirect. That is the nature. So in here, direct and indirect will become that one. Fixed and variable are by their behavior. A behavior is either it can change with the process or it doesn't change at all. So in that case, if they say classify the cost by their behavior, fixed and variable will be the answer. And this is one of the elements, the labor and materials, they can be classed as, the elements of it. Okay. And let's see here. Complete the following sentence using the drop down list. Costs that include both fixed and variable elements are known as, obviously, no, it's going to be a semi-variable because it has both elements in there. Like an electricity bill, we had a fixed element of a standing cost and a variable elements for amount you use. What do you call for the power you use, that is the variable amount. More you use, may you pay. And then the fixed element, which is standing charge, it stays fixed for that particular day. Whether you use an electricity or not, you'll be paying that one. So if the combination of those two will be called as a semi-variable. When a manufacturing business classifies the cost by elements for production, wages would be recorded as, because here is a manufacturing cost by the elements of production. So therefore, we're going to say this is going to be a labor. Okay, so the wages are normally paid to the people who works in the manufacturing, who normally does something involved with the manufacturing. It can be direct labor or indirect labor. It depends on what it is. But for you, a wages is always going to be a labor there. If they say it's electricity, and then you have to say an overhead. Okay. Let's go further down. Identify whether the following statements are true or false. Management accounts must be presented in a format specified by the regulations, and the financial accounts prepared on historical information. There are two statements. I need to know whether they are true or false. For you know, management accounting is internal, and that's something to do with future. Therefore, it is no set format. You have to do that. You can just do in a back of paper, just write it down. This is your target. No one's going to bat an eye. The reason, because it's used internally, they don't have to go on a specific format. There is no regulation pertaining to that one. So it is a false statement. For financial accounting, it has to go on an acceptable format. It's stated in IAS 1 accounting standard, International Accounting Standard 1, participates what are the financial accounts and how they have to be presented. But are they prepared with the historical information? Yes, that's true, because they are the facts. The facts can go in your financial statements and your financial accounts. Okay, so therefore that is absolutely right. Excuse me. So now we have income, production, administration, and then some codes, and then obviously you have subclasses and subcodes. So we are expected code following transactions are here. There's only 2, luckily, not 6. With the amount of boxes they have here, they probably done 6, but they just put 2 marks, so there will be something straightforward. So here, direct wages are an expense which is under either production or administration. Since it's direct, we need to look at it as a production, and that is going to be called code 200. So it's going to be Pro 200. So it's going to be PRO 200. And the tarmac sales, that will be income. So it's tarmac, so INC 100. It has to be a 6-character code. So the way I have done it here, just make sure you follow the right caps as well, because if you use a simple case, like instead of capital case, you put simple case, that might not be accepted as a valid answer. So please stick to the whether it's going to be caps or the simple letters as well. Okay, let's see. You have to make sure you scroll down to see any other questions are there you may miss out. So you have to wait until there's end of task, then you can move on to the next one. Identify whether the following statements are true or false using the drop-down menu on the list below. So here, manufacturing accounting shows the cost of producing goods sold during a accounting period. Yes, when you do a manufacturing account, there is a format. You start with the materials, you add your labors to it, and then you get the direct cost. You add your overheads, you get the manufacturing cost. Then you do the reconciliation of your work in progress. So you said you get the cost of goods manufactured. And then after that, you reconcile the finished goods and you get the cost of goods sold. So manufacturing accounting can give you the cost of produced goods sold during the accounting period. That is true. In manufacturing account, direct costs include manufacturing overhead. That is not true. Why? The direct costs are simply your material used and your labor. It's another name for prime cost as well. But overheads gets added to that one that give you the manufacturing cost, but it is not part of your direct cost. So therefore, this is a false statement. So I'll just move on from that now. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, what do you see here now? Whether you're going to follow the statement for whether it's going to be a true or false. Okay, so here 5.4 uses the oldest value of purchase to value the closing inventories. So then again, I have to think about it, how I'm going to get to that. If you see a wordy question like that way, I always see whether I can put the context into somewhere in letters to a number. It makes more sense to me. Or just draw it down in some kind of images in your piece of paper. They give you on the exam that you can ask for a blank piece of paper. Write it down like, hey, all right, okay, this is inventory A, B, C. These are the 3 receipts I have and how I'm going to pertaining from this. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to do a spreadsheet for that. It's easier if I do the spreadsheet. Let me get the spreadsheet out for you. Blank spreadsheet. Okay, so here I will share that with you now. Let me see. It allows me to do so. No, I can't stop sharing. Add apps. Add an app. Give me 1 second. Doesn't let you do it. I can't switch here. Let me see whether I can switch in this screen. Nah, it's fine. Let me share it again. Windows. Excel. So what do you see now? A spreadsheet. So I'm going to put these figures there. I'm going to say are my receipts. Receipts are A, B, and C. Okay. So if I'm going to issue using FIFO method, so let's go here and I'm going to say FIFO method. If I'm going to do FIFO method, if I'm going to issue them, yeah. So let's see. So here on the FIFO method, if I'm going to issue, which one I'm going to be issuing? I'll be issuing, yes, this is first, and this is going to be second. My closing inventory always going to be C. This is the only one I have left over. This is my newest stock in my closing inventory. Okay. When you're doing LIFO method, I'm doing LIFO. Which one you will be issuing first? This is going to be the first, second. We will be issuing this first, isn't it? So this will be issued first, and then this one will be your second. Therefore, this is your closing inventory. You'll have the older stock in your closing inventory comparing to FIFO. You have the newest stock. So let's go back into that question again. With the surpass. Yeah. So it says here, FIFO uses the oldest value of purchase to value your closing inventory, which is not true because we have said on the FIFO method, whatever we left over, it's the newest purchases, not the oldest one, which has been issued already. So therefore, this is a false statement. See, when I put that into a context of some sort of way you can make it understandable for you, it makes sense. Just don't rely on the words here. Write them down in a way it makes sense to you. And then they're saying here, LIFO uses the most recent value of purchase to value inventory issues. So here, what they're saying here, when they're going to use the issues, they're going to use the most recent value of purchase. That is true because whatever you bought last, it's going to be issued, of course. So therefore, that is absolutely fine here. Then identify the labor costing method describing below using the drop down list. So here the labor costs are calculated by multiplying the basic rate by the hours worked and supplemented by an additional amount if the production exceeds a certain level. So they're telling you, you get paid basic hours. So how many hours you do, you get a minimum amount of money for the hours you worked. And then you also qualify for something called a bonus for exceeding a production level. This is not overtime. This is a bonus charged on any exceeded level. So here it's either time rate with bonus. That is the right answer you make give here. There's other things are here, piece rate, and time rate with overtime that don't apply for this scenario. And let's look at the next one. Identify whether the following statement is true or false using the drop-down menu. Business paying using the piece rate method must offer bonuses. The word straight away must, it makes this statement not true because there is no necessary you have to do that one. Piecework is all about how many pieces you work. And of course, if you do too many, there is a compromising situation on the quality. You may not see the products in an acceptable quality because everybody trying to achieve their target, just producing them through, and it will take more time for you to control the quality of the products. So business will not offer you a bonus when it comes to piece rate most of the time. The word they say must offer, that is going to be false. Okay. Now, identify two ways in which information on budgeted cost is used by clicking on the left-hand box and matching them to the appropriate boxes on the right side. You can remove a line by clicking on it. So if I say here, if I click and this, yes, of course, I can remove it to get rid of it. Do you use it to prepare annual accounts? No. You're never going to use that for annual accounts because it's budgeted cost. Let's go from here. To enable the management to monitor performance. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So let's see if that is one of the answers we may think about it. To set unit sales prices, obviously, with your budgeted cost, you'll be able to set up a new prices for that. Yeah, it makes sense to you as well. To classify cost element. Yeah, it sounds right as well. But let's see whether it's the right option for it. Okay, we will check that again. To value inventory. Yeah, valuing inventory. Do you think I need to use my budgeted cost? No. So I can eliminate this one and that one straight away. So out of these three, possibly we may get the right answer there. So let me just check. Give me a second, please. Is the yeah, okay, so click on this. We know this is the same one. Yeah, that's fine. That is straight away making more sense. But they're saying here to classify cost elements. Do you think your budgeted cost it's going to be any way helps you with it? Classifying the cost elements, it's nothing to do with the budgeted cost because it says here classify. It's not like setting up something new. When you're going to classify that, you need to know how I'm going to do, what is my labor, what is my material, but it doesn't help you for that one because once you only classify these elements, you achieve at this budgeted cost. And then it doesn't work the other way around. But from this budgeted cost, then you'll be able to proceed to set unit sales price. And then also you'll be able to monitor the performance of the department. So therefore, they might be the right two answers. I'll check the answers later on and say to you might be which one is wrong. As far as I know, these three will not be correct. Now let's see a little bit more here. They ask you to identify two examples of a cost center and one example of a profit center for manufacturing business. So what is the centers are for? Cost centers are normally associated with only cost. They don't generate any revenue. Profit center, it generates revenue. Therefore, they can create a profit for that department. Basically, if you have cost and revenue, there will be a difference between them. That will be profit. And the third one, is investment center. Investment center is mostly a profit center with a capital investment. They can invest on new assets there. They have the authorization to do so. So in this scenario, it's only cost and profit centers. Let's see which one are they. Postage and shipping expenses, definitely not a cost center because they're just expenses, so we can ignore it. Sales division, it is definitely a profit center because it can generate revenue and then it may have cost associated with them as well. So therefore, this is a profit center. An administration center, yes, of course, it's a cost center because it can generate costs. I don't think administration doesn't create profit normally. They just involved in doing all the admin work, so it will cost you to run it. Direct sales director's wages, it is not a profit center, it's just an expense to that profit center. We're not going to use that as a center there. If they say it's the cost associated with that, that will be that one. Raw materials is part of the production center. If they're using the production department, that is a cost there. We're not going to do as a cost center. But maintenance department, it's going to be center. Just look for the names. Look at that here. Center, department, division. These are expenses, expenses, expenses. All right, so that makes more sense to you that way. In a manufacturing business that is a labor intensive, the most appropriate absorption method will be, so normally there are three different methods of absorption. One of them is by the units, another one by machinery, rate, and then the last one is going to be labor rate. For you, if manufacturing business is labor intensive, you're going to use per labor hour. So that will be the answer, not machine hours or units. Let's move on to the next one. So here we have FIFO method here. They're saying here the receipt and one issue of raw material SL2 that were made on the first half of March. These are shown in the inventory record below. Complete the inventory record below for the receipt and issue of SL2 during March and calculate the closing balances on 15th of March. The cost per liter entries should be completed to the pounds to the three decimal places. So just be careful with it. Okay. So here, first part of it, if I'm going to calculate what it is there, I have to use this. I don't have my calculator with me. See whether there's one here. So how to find the cost per liter? You just got the total cost divided by the quantity of the product. Therefore, the total cost is £24,000. Divide by quantity, it gives me £1.60. But in the answer, so in the question, they have said they want you in three decimals. Make sure you put that two additional zeros there to on top of that 1.6. Okay, so it has to be to the way they ask you to do so. And then also here they have a cumulative balance here of the material. So they have started with 20,000, they have 15,000 there. So it is going to become to a total of 35,000. And then obviously here, that means the both costs are added together to give you a new value of 49,000. 25,000 and 24,000 will give you 49,000. Since they're using FIFO method, I have to say I need to take whatever the initial balance from here first, then I'll dip into this to grab whatever I need further. So out of this 35,000, I'm going to use 25,000, means 20,000 plus 5,000 of this one. Let's find how much is the cost. Because I know £1.60 is per liter. For me, I'm going to take 5,000 from here. That's going to cost me £8,000 worth of material from this issue receipt. But I'm going to use the whole of this. Therefore, 25,000 plus the one we have decided 8,000, that gives me a new value of 33,000 for the issue of 25,000 liters. But what is the cost per liter in that scenario? 33,000 divided by 25,000. That gives me £1.32. But make sure you put the extra zero there. And then what is the last part? The last part asking you, what is the value of my closing balance? The closing stock. What cost it is attributed to. So what you need to do, you need to think, do I have anything of that 20,000? No, because we gave all of that away when I used the FIFO method. Only thing I have left is the 10,000 out of that one. That 10,000 valued at £1.60 per litre, that may give me £16,000 here. But just to make sure you got the right amounts, add these with this together. That should give me what was my cost before I have issued this 25,000. But now again, if you go further, it has some other information here, okay, about AVCO and the LIFO method. But then again, whichever way I'm going to do, you should know the value of your total inventory was £49,000. So if you find one of it, the other one, it's automatically this minus whatever figure you have calculated for that scenario. So here, when I'm going to use AVCO method, what is my AVCO method? Means is average cost. Therefore, all of that 35,000 liter of material, SL2, will be costed at an average value. What is that cost at average value? 49,000 divided by 35,000. That's going to be £1.40 per litre. So if that's going to be £1.45 per litre, I'm going to multiply by £25,000. That gives me £35,000 will be my cost of the issue. And then if that is 35,000, what I have left? I have left with another £14,000. If I add these two, I'm getting that £49,000. Makes more sense to me anyway. So that way, it is absolutely fine. Then let's go on to the LIFO method. If I'm going to use LIFO method to issue 25,000, I have to take some from here first at the cost of £1.60. And then I have to go and find another 10,000 from here for the price of whatever it is. So if it's 20,000, it's going to be 20,000 liters is going to be costing me 25,000. 10,000 is going to cost me half of that cost. It's going to be 125,000. No, not 125,000. 12,500. 12,500 plus this 24,000, that's going to give me 36,500, and whatever I left will be 12,500 again, because that is what we have used, and what is left over is going to be valued same as well, because half of what is left over. To prove my answers are right, just think about this plus this is equal to this 49,000. It does not change. The total cost of your inventory before the issue, regardless of what method you use, it's same. Only the splits will be different because we are in fact costing them at different methods. Okay, so just remember that policy. That will take you a long way there. Now let's go to 1.4. A company pays its employees a basic rate of £10 per hour for 30 hours a week, and overtime during the week is paid at a time and a half. And then also they're talking about any weekend working is paid at double the time. And then again, this scenario, please remember, they're talking about premiums. So therefore, when you're going to do normal hours and overtime pay, that is straightforward, because if they pay 10 hours per hour, if they're doing time and a half, their rate is going to be £15. And then for working weekends, their rate is going to be £20. You know that's their new rate, and you multiply that way. But in this question, they ask you how you're going to calculate the premiums. The premiums are the amounts they pay on top of their basic hours. So regardless how many hours they do, they will get a basic pay for all the hours they work. So if they're saying they're working 34 hours here and 8 hours of the weekend, altogether 42 hours, their basic pay will be not just 30 multiplied by 10, it's going to be 42 multiplied by 10, it's going to be £420. That is the basic pay. And then the premium is calculated as whatever they worked on top of their normal hours. So here, if you look at that 30 hours, they have worked more. 34 means they worked 4 hours more. That 4 hours, they qualify for a premium of £5 above their basic rate. So their total premium for the week during the weekdays is going to be 5 multiplied by 4 is going to be £20. And the premiums earned on the weekend, it's going to be the amount they have worked, the hours they worked, multiplied by the premium is charged on hourly rate. So therefore, the premium is going to be £10 on top of the normal basic pay, £10. 10 multiplied by 8 is £80, and the gross pay is going to be 520. If I done it other way, if I say, I forgot about this premium, I just done it completely different. Normally, the answer will be, the final answer is going to be still 520, but the basic rate is going to be £300. The premium for that 4 hours is going to be £60, because 15 multiplied by 4 is 60. And then 8 hours multiplied by 20 is going to be £160. So add those two again. Here you go. 220 plus 300 is 520. You get the same answer regardless. So just be careful with this question, because these questions are basically to stump the students of what they're asking. If they just didn't mention this premium, if they say overtime for the week, you should do the one I just showed you now. Okay, instead of the premium. Premium is only the amount above your basic rate. Then let's look at the next one here. The company has production target of 500 units for each production employee. Any excess production is rewarded by a bonus of £8 per unit, capped at the maximum of 550 units. Identify whether the bonus calculations for the employees are correct or incorrect. So we have to think about it first here. Employee 1 produces 460 units and earns a bonus of 0. Absolutely right, because they need to achieve at least 500 units. Yeah, they're saying if they do anything in excess of it, they receive a bonus. But here, this is not, so it is correct. So they don't earn any bonus. The answer is 0, and that is fine. Look at the employee 2 produces 500 units and earns a bonus of 8. Oh, you think, oh, they achieved the target, they should earn the bonus. No, they don't, because they haven't exceeded the production. If they stop at 500 units, their bonus starts with still 0. If they make 501 unit, then they will achieve that £8 bonus for that 1 unit there. So if somebody produces 520 unit, how I'm going to work with it? 520 unit means they have made 20 units more than what they have um, more than what they should have done. So therefore, they get £8 per unit. So multiply by 20 multiplied by 8 is going to be 160 there. So therefore, that is absolutely correct. And then look at that last one. They have made 560 units and they earn a bonus of 480. Now, this is where the thing's going to be a bit tricky, because you say, yeah, £8 per unit, 60 items, multiply by 8, that is going to be, yes, £480, which is not true. The reason, they have capped the maximum production at 550, so they can only achieve bonuses of 50 units, multiplied by 8, 400. Cannot be more than £400. If somebody's earning more than £400, that is incorrect as well. So therefore, that is wrong. Now let's move on. Question number 5. So here, Bamba Limited is considering how to cost various products it makes. It needs to decide on the overhead absorption. Bear for a second, please. Needs to decide on overhead absorption basis it will use. Methods it is considering is going to be machine hours, labor hours, and per unit basis. Complete the table below to show 3 overhead absorption rates the Bamba Limited could use. Show the calculation to 2 decimal places. So what you need to do here, though, you had to be a bit straightforward. You need to find what is the formula for this. Overhead rate, it is applied by this following method. It's going to be always overheads divided by the activity. Okay, so here, if you know the overheads are 240,000 pounds and your activity is 20,000, you're going to divide this by this, which is fairly straightforward. That should give me 12 pounds. Absorption, it's going to be 12 pounds per machine hour. Let me just check it again. Yeah, it is 12. Yeah, I'm doubting myself here. So the next one, they're doing by labor method, and the same overhead is going to be divided by the activity level of 40,000 labor hours. So it's going to be charged at £6 per labor hour. And then see, it's 2 decimal places. Even if it's 0, please put the 0 here. And this one is going to be classed similar, £4 with 2 decimals there. Always remember, cost is going to be always above and the activity is always below. You cannot divide other way around, because you're trying to find what is the cost per one activity, not like what is the activity per one cost, £1. We're not doing that. We're trying to find what is the cost per activity here. Okay, bit of a maths quirk there. Complete the table below to calculate the total unit cost of GT5. Use each of these 3 absorption rates you calculated on A and show your calculation to 2 decimal places. So let's do that here. They haven't done that themselves. It doesn't mean you, I think they possibly done it, because see that 0 here, it's protruding this side. I think because I zoomed in, let me see, zoom out. Yeah, I can see the decimals here because it's mine. When I just zoomed in, it just pushed the 0 to the other side there. Yeah, I'll zoom back up in a minute. Let me do these questions. Just keep an ease of it. So here they're saying it takes 10 minutes machine time and 30 minutes of labor to produce. So if I'm going to use 12 pounds per machine hours, what is the cost for 10 minutes? 12 pounds is for 60 minutes. For 10 minutes, you're going to divide by 60, multiply by 10, or just divide by 6. It's simpler because 1/6 of an hour, it's going to be 10 minutes. So therefore, this is going to be costing me £2 overhead towards it. And then similar, if it takes half an hour to produce, if you pay for 1 hour is £6 absorption rate, for half an hour, it's going to be £3. And this one, on the other hand, per unit is fairly straightforward. Per 1 unit, the cost is always going to be this absorption rate per unit. So £4 here. So let's see the total cost. It's that one. This one is £21.50. And this one is going to be £22.50. and that is fairly, self-explanatory there. Add these two, you get that cost. Which of these three recording methods would be best suited for automated production line? Obviously, we talked about that before as well. If it's automated, it's going to be machine hours, okay? Because it's more machine intensive, you'll be able to absorb the cost accordingly there. Let's look at 1.6. Okay, so let's see here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so here a manager needs to understand how the cost of company's single products change at different output. Complete the table below to separate out the variable cost and the fixed cost of the production. So here we should use Euler method to divide the total cost into their variable and fixed elements. So for this one, I'm just going to say how I'm going to do this Euler method. Euler method is always going to be the difference between the cost at the high level and the lower level divide by the production level or the activity level at the highest level and the lowest level. So in this scenario, the difference between the cost at the highest and the lowest is going to be 32 minus 22 is going to be 10,000. Number of units is going to be 10,000 minus 5,000 is going to be 5,000. So you're going to divide that 10,000 cost by 5,000 unit. It gives you £2, the first instance, £2 variable cost per unit. That one is an element doesn't change because every unit you make, you have to pay a £2 variable cost. If I have 1 unit, there's a £2 variable cost to it. If I do 10 units, it's going to be £20 variable cost towards it. Okay, so it increases more you make. So here for 5,000 unit, total variable cost is going to be 10,000, and 10,000 unit, the total variable cost is going to be 20,000. But then again, look at it. Once I've done these two, I'll be able to find what is my fixed cost at these two levels. Look at that. 22,000 minus 10,000, it give me £12,000. 32 minus 20,000, it also give me £12,000. That means fixed cost has not changed with the level of production is changing. Therefore, it matches my narrative. Variable cost change with the level of activity. Fixed cost does not change at all. So here I can simply put 12,000 here. That does not change because I already know my fixed cost. I can simply this minus that to find the variable cost. But then again, I already know the variable cost per unit as well. So if it's £2 per unit variable cost for 7,500 units, the total variable cost will be 15,000. Add these two together and you should get that again. So it makes no difference at all. And then they're asking you this. Identify the correct cost behavior for the 4 costs shown below. Now, this is tricky. People say, oh, this is word questions. Oh, I'm going to struggle with it. Just put them into some way it makes sense to you. Put a number to it if it makes sense to you anyway. So they're saying here, the unit cost is the same whatever the output level. So that means, remember on the previous example, the unit cost of £2, same for all these 3 levels. It did not change. Unit cost, not the total cost, not the fixed cost or anything like that, just the unit cost. So the variable cost per unit was same, wasn't it? So therefore, that has to be the variable cost. You can use the previous question as a good example here. If I ever get a continuation question like that way, sometimes this is pertaining to what's above there. Okay, so here we have proved it earlier, and that should make sense. The total cost consists of part that says same and the part that changes with the output level. Obviously, you know this total cost as changing cost here, like in a variable cost, and its cost doesn't change on this fixed cost. What is this we call? We call in that case is a semi-variable cost. And what is the next one? The total cost is same whatever the output level. Whatever the output level, you see that here, the cost doesn't change here. So that is normally the fixed cost. But what is the last one? The unit cost reduces, but at a lower rate than a reduction in output. This it's too worded for you to explain it because I can draw a big chart there. I can just go on teaching this one, but it's no matter to me because this is something, too worded to go for a half an hour explanation. But you should know straight away if the unit cost reduces, with along the reduction in profit, this is reduction in output, it is going to be a semi-variable cost because it goes on a lower rate than your fixed cost. Okay, because you have the variable cost is still there, so it takes part of the cost towards it. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's go move on to the next question. Good old manufacturing account. So we talked about the manufacturing account before. They have said here there are some costs, there are some other costs here, and there also some reconciliation here, how I'm going to deal with it. So here, normally the mantra is just follow the order. Direct cost, direct labor, material cost is always going to be something forming the part of the product. So therefore, only this 35,000 will go as my part of my direct material cost. The products not part of the the material not part of the product will go as an overhead later on. Let's get there later on. And then look at the labor also. If there is a labor working on production, they will classed as my direct labor cost. So here I'm going to put that as the direct labor cost. The supporting cost will be going as an overhead towards the production. Let's see the next one. The manufacturing overheads. That's where we have to add all the missing ones like this, all three can go together. That gives you 50,000 pounds. 50,000 pounds is your overheads. And then total manufacturing cost, it's adding all of them here. 47 and 57, it's going to be 97,000 pounds. And then they're asking you to find what is the cost of goods manufactured. So here they have given you the opening inventory of 0 work in progress and the closing inventory of that. Normally, the sense we do here, we add any opening inventory to it and take away any closing inventory. You may ask me why. It's a long subject, but I'll explain to you quickly. Any opening inventory, you use this what do you call your costing. The reason you normally start working on the previous work in progress before you start with the new product. Therefore, it will be used to make a finished product. Therefore, that can be part of the cost. But the work in progress closing inventory is, it is not finished. Therefore, it cannot be part of the cost for this period because I'm going to ship that to the next period. Therefore, the cost of that one we will take away when we're going to doing the manufacturing cost. So therefore, we add 0, take away 11,000, it's going to give me 86,000 pounds. And same it happens to your finished goods. We add this and take away, and that gives you 80,000 pounds. The answer is going to be final answer, 80,000 pounds. But remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you may ask why there is 8 marks, because you are adding one and taking another away. So these two are carrying 2 marks each. These two carry 2 marks each. So be careful with that one when you're making your answer. Question number 1.8 now. We're almost there, almost finished. So let's have a look at this here. All 6 production employees in a company are paid a basic £12 per hour for 30 hours per week, working week, Monday to Friday. Any overtime during the week is paid time and a half, and any weekend pay is going to be double. Calculate the basic pay, overtime pay, premium, everything is there. They have shown it the same way we have done it before. We're going to calculate this. Now, because total hours are 40 hours, 40 multiplied by £12 is going to be 480 pounds. Okay, 12 multiplied by 40 is 480. The overtime during the week is going to be 6 hours multiplied by £6 premium. That gives you 36 pounds. You ask me how I got £6 premium, because it's 50% off the basic rate. But then the other one, the premium at the weekend is going to be £12. £12 multiplied by 4, it's going to give me 48 pounds. And add all of that together, it's going to give me 564 pounds. I'm not using a calculator. I use my head. Don't do that in the exam. Use your calculator. Add these two figures, your premiums, gives me 84 pounds. 84 plus 480 is 564 pounds. Okay, so that will be the 4 marks question. Fairly straightforward. You got that in one go. But then again, you're also looking at it. All production is rewarded by a 4 pence per unit bonus. Last month, 5,000 units were produced per employee. Okay, so they're saying here the group pays each employee the same as you calculated in A in each of the 4 weeks last month. And then also they want you to calculate the low, for 6 employees. So here, if you look at that here, there are 6 employees. Don't forget that. And what you calculated here is a pay for 1 employee for 1 week. No more than that. So whatever cost you're going to calculate it afterwards is going to be for 6 employees for 4 weeks. So you have to multiply whatever you have by 24, because 4 multiplied by 6 is 24 multiplied by this. You get the amount. You see where I'm coming from. But let's see here. All production is rewarded by a bonus of 4 pence. Last month, 5,000 units were produced by each per employee. So therefore, the total bonus is going to be per month, per employee. It's going to be last month, each employee was paid a bonus of 5,000 multiplied by 0.04. It's 200 pounds. Each employees were paid 200, but the total bonus is altogether 1,200 pounds. That will be the amount, but we will get there eventually. They're asking you here, what is the gross pay for each employee was same as you calculated in A. They want you to find the total pay for all, including bonuses for all employees for that month. So what do you need to do? You can't ignore this bonus. This bonus get added on to the employees after they have found a monthly pay for that whole of that one employee there. So we have 564 pounds for 1 week, multiply by 4, which I'll get 2,256 pounds before bonuses. Now add the bonuses of 200 pounds, it gives me 2,456. That's the total pay for one employee. Now you multiply that by 6, you get 14,736. So let's see whether we have the right info there. Yeah, 14,736 pounds there. That would be the answer. You have to multiply this by 4 to find one employee's per month wages before any bonuses. Add the bonuses of 200 pounds because this is per month bonus for this employee. You add that together, you get 2,456 pounds, and then you're going to multiply that by 6, which is going to be for the total of all 6 employees. So here now we have to transport this figure here. We have to, this figure has to be used in when you're going to do some of the calculations. So let's see here. They're showing now, calculate the total cost and cost per unit of last month production. Calculate what these figures would have been if the production has increased to 37,500. Okay, then here the direct labor cost is 30,000 per unit. You figured on C above. So here 14,736. I'm just putting that figure down there. And in that case, I'll be able to calculate my total cost. My total cost is going to be after that plus 25,264 plus 32,500. That gives me 72,500 pounds. And then if they want to find the cost per unit, then I'm going to divide this figure by 30,000 unit. And then that gives me £2 and 42, 41,666. So it's going to be £2 417 will be the cost. Okay. They have said here, calculate the cost per unit to 3 decimal places. So here it's going to be that amount. 725 divided by 3. Yeah, it's going to be 2.417 because it goes 6666 all the way there. So the answer is going to be 2.417. And then now they're asking you here, what if your production increases to 37,500? You know your material costs are variable. Therefore, if your production increased from 30,000 to 37,500, it has to increase proportionately. So how I'm going to find it? So you know your cost is 25,264. You can divide it by 30,000 and then multiply by 37,500. That should give me a new value of 31,580, because you're going to divide this cost by that to find variable cost per 1 unit and then multiply by 37,500. Don't round up or down, guys. When you get that figures, it will be in multiple decimals. Just multiply that straight away. Don't round up or down. But then here, next one also going to be applied. Same 14,736, because it is a variable cost divided by 30,000 multiplied by 37,500. I'm going to get 18420. You see, these are both increased because, of course, your production has increased and variable costs change with the production. But what to do with this manufacturing overheads? What question shall I do? Shall I, divide it by 30,000 and multiply by 37,500? You think, oh, you've done that here, we should do that here as well. No, you don't, because this is a fixed cost. An overhead does not change with the level of production increasing. It remains same in all production level. For your level 2, that's all you need to know. Level 3 and level 4, you may see slight changes to it. For level 2, you have to think about it. Your overheads always remain same. So 32,500, it does not change. So here, I'm going to add all of that together and then plus the 32,500. I have a new cost of 82,500 here. And then you're going to divide this 82,500 by 375,000, and it gives me £2.20. But we need to do that in 3 decimal places. Therefore, keep an eye out for it in case if you get a different answer. This is what they mean by that. Okay. Remember, the cost is now reducing per unit. The simple reason is more units means this fixed cost getting absorbed by more units. Therefore, reduces the cost of 1 unit. More you make after that, that cost will still come down and down and down and down. It will plateau at a level, but then again, that is, for you to decipher, because they're not going to give you in millions straight away. Now, let's look at question 1.9. Here, the production cost center of a bakery spent 1,100 pounds more on raw materials than it budgeted for, and 750 pounds less on wages than what they budgeted for. Therefore, they want you to know what is the new costs for that one. The budgeted expenses for raw materials is 9,350. If they spend more on that one, your actual expense has to be higher than that. So you're going to add that. You're going to have 10,450. 9,350 plus 1,100, yeah, 10,450. And you obviously know it's an adverse variance because you spend more than what you budgeted for. But when it comes to the wages is going to be 4,725. Take away this 750 because you spend less. So the new amount is 3,975. This is, of course, is going to be a favorable variance. Why? Because you have spent less than you expected. If you spend less, of course, it's good for you. So therefore, it is favorable. And then look at the next one here. They're saying here, identify whether the following statement is true or false by using the tick boxes below. So here, the tick boxes saying the company that has an adverse variance on sales has received more income than budgeted. That is completely not true, because if there's an adverse variance on sales, that means they have received less, not more than budgeted. If you receive more than what you intend to earn, that is good for you. Therefore, it will be a favorable. But in this scenario, they have, if they're saying if it's an adverse variance, they would have done less. So the statement doesn't match each other. So therefore, it's going to be a false statement here. You are reviewing the performance of the marketing department. The variance on budgets, variance on advertising was 7% over the budgeted figure. So here, They want you to complete this table with variance and actual expense, and then obviously they want you to identify whether it's going to be adverse or favorable. So if it's £12,000, 7% of it is going to be 12,000 multiplied by 7% is going to be £840. And then you should know if you have spent more over the budget, that is an adverse variance, because if you spend more, of course, it's more than what you intend to spend. It's not good. Not good means it's adverse. So your actual expense is also higher, 12,840. That is the answer for that. 3 marks for that. You got done in a minute. You can do that, guys. You can easily pass this exam. Let's see a little bit more. Last question here. They have given you raw materials were budgeted at £117,000. The actual cost is going to be 135,700. You've been asked to provide this information now. They want you to find the variance on the materials. The variance is going to be budget minus actual. You don't have to do a negative figure here. Just put whatever positive figures there, because we're going to say whether it's going to be adverse or variance here. If you put a negative, sometimes you may not got the answers. They didn't say that here to put the negative variance, adverse variance on as a negative. They didn't say that. So you normally do the highest figure minus the lowest figure here. So 1,357 minus 0. So it's going to be £18,700. And they want you to calculate the variance percentage of raw material variance in 2 decimal places. How would you calculate that? Normally, you do that by dividing the variance by the budgeted figure multiplied by 100. It's always variance divided by budgeted multiplied by 100%. So you hear 18,700 divide by £117,000 multiplied by divide by 1170, multiply by 100, and I'm getting 15.98%. So that is the variance of the raw materials. And then again, they ask you to adverse or variable, favorable, you say it's an adverse. Now here, it's a 9 marker. It's a really tricky question on some aspects, but you have to look at it. These are conditions. You are normally given with these kind of questions to see whether you can understand the significance of each conditions here. So here, the first part is you have to calculate the percentage of it. Let's do that, and then we'll decide how to deal with that. Okay, so if you've done this, you'll be easily be able to go through this scenarios and select which one it is. So here the first one is the variance percentage is going to be calculated as 56,750 divided by the budget, which is 375,000, and it gives me a variance percentage in 2 decimals, 15.13. Okay. The variance is 15.13 here. Next one, 425 divided by 4,500, it gives me 9.44. Let's look at the third one. 26,700 divided by 123,100 multiply by 100, it gives me 21.69. Now, the question is, we have now at the moment, they're saying here, variance in excess of 5% of budget. All of them are more than 5%. Okay. And that are greater than £500 are significant, but not all of them are greater than 500 here. So this one, it's not meeting that category. Therefore, this is not significant because it fulfilled this condition, but it didn't fulfill this one. So it needs to meet both. The others two are, they're making sense because these are more than 5%. This is more than 5%. And they are more than £500. Therefore, these are both significant. I can decide that straight away. Let's look at the next one. They're saying here, adverse variance. Oh, no, hold on. It says here, they should be reported to the department manager. And the next one is, if adverse variances are in excess of 10% of the budget, are greater than £1,000 are significant, they should be reported to the departmental director. So let's look at this one. So here, is this an adverse variance? Your income is budgeted the amount, and actual income was less. Therefore, this is an adverse variance, and that is more than 10% and more than £1,000. So yes, we report it to department manager. This is not being required to, to anyone because it's not significant. It's um, hold on. This one, it is director, not manager. It's going to be director because it's about 10% and about 10,000, and then it's also an adverse variance, so it's fine. And then the last one, production overheads. You have spent more than what you're budgeted for. Again, this is an adverse variance, and it is also more than £1,000 and more than 10%. It goes to the departmental director here. Then this one is just an extra clause there. Any variance, even if it's adverse variance or favorable variance, if they are more than 20% of the budget, and and also greater than £2,000, you speak to the departmental director. But here they're both adverse and they're more than 10%. Therefore, this will be the answer for that one. Okay. That should conclude it, guys. I took nearly an hour, so it's not bad. And I'm hoping you do well on this exam. Hopefully you progress from here to your level 3. And on your level 3, you will be getting a little bit more complicated scenarios of all of the things you learned on your element of costing unit. You'll get something called management accounting techniques. And that is something, a big step up than what you're doing here. But it's also going to be a very challenging and interesting perspective for you. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and then of course leave your comments. Anything you needs to be done, I'm more than happy to see if I can accommodate it for you. And there are some other requests being placed for the new qualifications AQ 2022. I'm busy with the exams at the moment, so therefore I haven't had a chance to go through most of it. To record videos of that one. So please give me a little bit of time and I will be able to upload some more for you. So then again, thank you. And I'm looking forward to see you again soon. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, hold on. Let me finish it. Let me finish this one. See whether I have done well anyway. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, it says here, you have completed this assessment. Congratulations. You are competent. I had no doubt you'll get the same answers from this anyway. So yeah, again, guys, thank you for tuning in and looking forward to speak to you again soon. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.